What's up, tribe? Nick here from Ottawa, and the tool that I'm going to share today is kneeling. Might not seem like a very sexy topic, but kneeling is one of the most powerful ground resting positions that you can learn to use. It's probably one of my most commonly used ones because it has such a broad variety of variations that you can use. So you're not just limited to one version of kneeling, there's a lot of different types, and each one of them will bias a different joint to kind of work on your mobility. Okay, so it's a great position if you want to relax on the ground instead of using a chair or sitting on a couch. If you're reading a book, doing a little bit of work at a computer, having a coffee, grabbing a bite to eat, whatever it might be, it's a really powerful position to use for those activities in replacement to the chair. Okay, so ancestrally, we would have used this position quite a bit, right? If we were preparing a meal or skinning an animal that we might have hunted, this was a really popular position. And like any position that we stop using, when you first go back to using it, it can be uncomfortable. And that discomfort doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something wrong or causing your body damage. It just means that you've lost some of the mobility required to adopt that position comfortably, and you have a little bit of work to do in order to get that position back or to own that position again. And it really just comes by doing small doses every day, and you'll see some massive changes in a pretty short period of time. Okay? Now, different varieties of kneeling. So this is kneeling, this is kneeling, this is kneeling. And if I go from the side, I can kneel with my toes up like that. I can kneel with my toes down. Okay, one of the ones that I like is this one, where it's a fairly passive kneeling position. Now, for some people that haven't exposed their knees to full flexion before, this can be uncomfortable. If you got tight quads or your knee joints just haven't been exposed there, one thing you can do is take something like a sitting cushion and put it there, and that can make it a little bit more tolerable. Okay, initially, as you're progressing through this. So if you're here, your knees are bent fully. This also puts a lot of tension on the front of the ankles if you're really tight there. Okay, so if the front of your ankles are tight, this is a great way to mobilize them, and a lot of times I'll kind of lift the knees up and alternate, sometimes go both at the same time, and it really is a powerful way to mobilize that anterior compartment. People with shin splints or medial tibial stress syndrome can be really tight there and gunky. If you want to mobilize the big toes, you can put your big toes up, and that's a really powerful way to bring your toes into extension. Once again, if you got tight big toes, or if you got bunions, or if you already have some irritation there, this might not be super comfortable to start with. So you might have to modify accordingly. Okay? Now we often will tell people to try their own kneeling experiments. This is also a really good one as a side note. This is almost like a half squat. So I'm working on this hip being comfortable in that squatting position and this knee's on the ground. Because really kneeling really just means any position where I'll stay in kneeling. Any position where one or both knees are bearing the load of your body when you're resting on the ground. It helps to have something a little bit cushiony. We use these oversized yoga mats from Gorilla Mats in the office. If you go to gorillamats.com, type in the code TFC Tribe, you'll get 10% off. I think it's 10 or 15% off. But they work really well, whether it's doing a kettlebell workout and just trying to protect your floor or making it comfortable to rest on the floor. They work really well. We recommend them. And I think what everyone has to do in terms of kneeling and reclaiming the kneeling position is just do your own kneeling experiment. And what I mean by that is try it every day. Be mindful of where you feel it. Is it your knees? Is it your ankles? Is it your toes? I like to time myself sometimes where I'll go in this position for 5 or 10 minutes. Or I'll just time myself and see how long can I stay here comfortably. And the good thing about kneeling is that when you develop some discomfort here, you can go here, you can go here. You can explore all these different positions. So do your own kneeling experiment, reclaim the kneeling position, spend 5 minutes, make a goal of spending 5 minutes kneeling and use as much variety as you need to. So when one position gets uncomfortable, go to the next one. Anyway, hopefully that opens up kneeling as a position that you can start to adopt instead of sitting in a chair, and we'll catch you next video.